far there's so many ants. It's better now. Did I miss anything?
I think on this one we just need a printed name. Is that
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And ready to go?
But the ants are better now. But when I first came, they were really bad
Were
in
they?
the summer.
Really? Big ones?
Big ones, those big black ones.
Yeah. Carpenter ants.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much.
Mhm.
Thank you. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Joan.
Okay, you're
We'll get
welcome.
going. You know, we were going to start with just a background. If you want to talk about, you know, who you are, where you came from, if you have any relatives in the area, what your job is, anything you'd like to introduce.
Well, I came from Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay.
My parents had 10 children, and I am the 10th child. My father died when I was around age 10. My older siblings were already residents of Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay.
And at that time, my older sister talked to my mom. She thought it would be a good idea for her to, like, you know, get away from Tennessee and move here. So we did that, and we did that when I was right around age 12. And we came up, and the story with me is that my mother taught me to bake. Well, pretty much all of her girls, how to bake at age 9. And by the time I was 10, I was excellent, and it became a passion. So we came up here in 1968, and I attended elementary school. I was like a grade ahead of most children my age, because for some reason in the South, I don't know, you may have heard it, the educational system is somewhat better than the northern system. So I attended Brown Street Middle School, and we lived on like 21st and Lloyd. You know where that is, off of Brown Street?
I don't know where that
In
is.
Fond du Lac, 16th Street,
Okay.
in that area.
Yep.
And graduated from Brown Street. Then I went to West Division. I graduated from West Division in 1992. And then in 1976, I landed a really good job in a factory known as Milwaukee Brush Manufacturing Company. But before that, I had taken seasonal jobs because I was a parent. I had 2 children, and I wasn't able to, you know, work full time. So I did, you know, seasonal jobs, Christmas, birthdays, need extra money at that time. And I worked for places like Boston Store, Gimbals, and restaurants, Badger Ford Truck Sales. You ever guys ever heard of them? They're located on like 27th and Clyburn.
So
What jobs like that?
Okay.
Filing, you know, stuff like that.
Sure.
So I was at, like, in all of us are, we're at a crossroad in our lives that we really want to do something different. You know, you get bored with all the past things you did, and it's like, oh, I want to make a change. So one day, I got a brochure with classes from MATC in the mail, and I browsed through them. I'm like, what would I be good at? You know, and I'm like, oh, this baking thing, you know, that my mom had taught me. So I went through, and I signed up for cake decorating. This was in '84. And I started those classes, and I enhanced the skill that my mom had taught me with, you know, the baking. And then I incorporated the cake decorating. So I started doing that as a hobby. Then I thought, this is excellent. I'll never have to purchase a birthday cake for the children. So, I mean, you could save money. So I did that. And then it escalated. And then I took more classes and more classes. And I started doing wedding cakes, things like that. Family, friends, you know. And then I started taking candy courses. I want to learn how to make this chocolate candy. A Reese's cup, chocolate covered marshmallows, things like that. So I did that. So this was like, you know, a hobby. Did things, you know, keep busy and hobby. So in 1992, I left Milwaukee Brush. It was an excellent job. I loved it. But there was a feud. The father passed. It was a family-owned company. The father passed. It was a feud between the two brothers. You know, power struggle. Oh,
Right.
I want it.
Yeah.
I want it. So the mom got fed up and she sold it. So this was in '92. She sold it, and there was a gentleman that came in from Germany, and his name was Ed Krautner. And he came in and he made in 2 years really good money for himself. So then he started crying, oh, I'm broke, we're not making any money. He went to the union, blah, blah, blah. They got together. You know the story. I'm sorry, you got to take these cuts. If you don't take these cuts, this, blah, blah, blah. But at that time, I was making like $10.50 per hour.
Mhm.
And they really did. They took us to the cleaners. Some people got $3 an hour cut.
Wow.
Yeah, some people got $4. You had to pay more for your health insurance. And the majority of us just simply could not afford to work there anymore. So I was like age 39. I knew, you know, I had these skills behind me. And I also had taken early childhood development. So I had a small savings. And I left there in June of '92.
Mhm.
And I started a daycare, a family daycare.
Okay.
And I had like 12 children, and I did real well for 2 years. But then after that, Ronald Reagan. Remember, I don't know if you guys know if you were too young, but they had a program back then, and Ronald Reagan, implemented money to the state, and it's called crisis intervention. And what that program was that it protect children from abusive parents. So it paid for children to go into daycares, 10 hours a day, generally 8 hours and an hour travel time, you know, to and from. So I took care of 12 of those children that was in that program and did really well. So a couple years later, Ronald Reagan says, no more, we can't afford this, so we got to drop this program. And as a result of that, a lot of daycares had to fold up.
Where was the daycare?
In my house, it was a family.
Right at your house?
Yeah, it was a family-owned daycare.
Did the cooking play into the daycare at all?
It
Did
did.
you bake
It did.
For the kids?
It did. We did a lot more than just baking.
Okay.
We would make breakfast together.
Oh, that's great.
And I had attended classes at MATC for early childhood development. Oh, I love that. That was so nice. I just love working with children.
Mhm.
And then all the feedback they give you. It's like you think they're not listening when you're talking to them. But it was a social, emotional, math, reading, science. We did a lot of nature walks, when the weather permitted, even sometimes when it didn't permit. But it was excellent. And my children was like from age 1 year to about 8 years.
Okay.
So I had 12 of those. So, but I had to drop it, because of all the cuts that was going on.
Okay.
So then I worked for, I don't know if you guys know Miss Gray.
Does she work here? Does she?
Miss Gray, she has this huge daycare. It's
Okay.
closed now.
Okay.
She went out, but it's right on Titonia and Mill Road.
Okay. I think we.
It's where the police building is now. The police, they took it over now.
Okay.
That's where her daycare was. I worked for her in a summer school program. And that was in from June of '94 to August.
Mhm.
So the pay wasn't there. It
Yep.
just wasn't. So anyway, I kept looking for a job, and in 1994, I landed Phoenix Product.
Okay.
Really nice company to work for. They make real high-powered lighting, high-end stuff.
Mhm.
So I worked there for 16 years, and then as I was telling you guys on the way, they started, this thing when the stock market crashed, you know the story, that hit that all these companies took. All of us took a hit. I took a hit, but not as much as the companies. So they got their heads together. They want to decide, we need to stay afloat. We need to keep this business. So what do we need to do to, protect the future of the company? So the union and the company got together, and it ended up that they wanted to downsize, but it was the older employees. The one with all the benefits, the one with all the pay, etc. So that's what happened to me and others. I wasn't the only one, so I was let go as a result of that. So at this age, I really wanted to go into something that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Something that, well, you got this culinary background, what do you want to do?
Mm-hmm.
So I applied for Pick and Save, and I landed a job there at baking, cake decorating, and something that I thought I would never be doing,
Making donuts.
making donuts. So that's what I do now, and that's my story. And I hope that I've helped you, what I've told you. But it is a history, and I went as far back as I can remember.
Yeah.
You started when I was age 9. When my mom taught me to bake. But by the time I was 10, I was as good as my mom with baking.
Yeah.
And that's why I got my passion. So that's why I still do this stuff today. But now I'm baking bread and stuff. But anyway, I got some pictures.
Okay. Yeah.
This is some of the stuff that I do at work, so you guys can see.
Oh, that'd be great.
And someday I'm still working on the finance, and I'd like to open a bakery.
Okay. The ultimate goal.
Yes, that's my ultimate goal.
Okay.
Oh, here
So-
we go.
So with the bakery, do you bake out of your house now? Do you sell to people in the community, in the neighborhood at all?
Well,
or?
not really. It's
No.
just a friend, family kind of thing.
Okay.
My sister called, Joan, I need a cake for Sunday. Would you do it? Blah, blah, blah.
What about the Agape
that
Center?
kind of thing.
Does the Agape Center ever approach you and say,
Well,
we have a big party?
no, not
No.
yet. I made some turtles. Did you guys hear about
I've heard about the turtles.
Yeah,
Tanya had mentioned about the turtles.
That's my donut fryer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
hmm
And where is this?
That's at Pick and Save.
Pick
That's
and
the one at Midtown. That's where I work.
Okay.
Okay, and I got a few more on
Sure.
here. Okay. Those are my long johns. I have to set them up on screen, and then they have to be proofed before I start frying them. And then it's like a minute on each side. Croissants, they get like 2 minutes on the side.
Okay.
A lot of people like those.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those would be good.
Yeah. You know
So
what those are?
did you know how to do this before you got a
No.
job at Pick and Save, or they taught you
Never.
a few new skills?
Never. That's my glazer.
Okay.
That's my glaze station.
Yep.
No, they taught me to do it, and I got it right away. Those are my croissants. I had set those up too. Again, they have to be proofed before you deep fry it.
Sure.
The turtles are your own, right?
That's your own recipe?
Yeah, those are my own recipe.
Okay.
The turtles. Yeah.
I've heard good things about those.
Yeah, they are. I learned to make those in my candy class.
So
So that's where I learned to make those turtles.
well, I think we're gonna have to try those. We're gonna have to
They're
place,
good.
place an order, and
Yeah, well, let me know.
we'll talk to some people in
Okay.
the class, and we'll try to get some.
Okay.
Make sure to get everyone set up.
All right.
One question I have is,
Okay.
you said you moved to the neighborhood in 1983. Is that correct?
84.
84. Okay. And you've been here ever since.
Ever since. I love it here.
Yeah. Have you seen a lot of changes in the neighborhood
I have.
since then?
I've seen a lot of changes. Like this one picture, and I was telling you
Yeah.
how they remodeled and they put in new windows and new porches, and
Yeah.
we had
Did you like this setup better?
well, actually I liked the windows better, but not the doors. The doors, they had glass, and today you just can't be too careful. So I like the metal doors better because I feel safer with the metal doors.
Okay.
And the windows they removed from the basement. I miss that clothesline because I used to wash in the summer,
Really?
and I have to use the dryer. You save money that way.
Oh, yeah.
So they decided to take that out.
Hmm.
But it was a nice feature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any other changes? Any other things that you've noticed that you don't like or you do like, or
Well,
the people in general?
this is one thing that I don't like, and then there's several that I like. The upkeep. We got a new furnace. They came in, they put in new pipes. Those are all good things. Those are things that I like. But what I don't like is that, and I was telling you yesterday, the type of people that they're letting in now. A lot of them don't work. They're on rent assistance. They got a lot of idle time.
Yeah.
They're unproductive. And they're a nuisance. In other words, they're a nuisance. And they're real needy. And they're beggars, that kind of thing. Where before you didn't have that. When I first moved, just about every household there, someone in the house was employed. But now it's totally different. I don't like that.
When did you see that
They're
change?
loud.
When did you see that?
I saw that change the last couple of years.
Yeah.
It was the last couple of years. I don't know why they're doing that, or, well, we know that our economy took a downturn and it got hit really, really hard. So I don't know if they're doing it because they had so many vacancies that people really couldn't afford, because that rent, it's not bad, you know, it's not bad. It's like $569 for a 2-bedroom, about $490 for a 1-bedroom, but the people that live in a 1-bedroom, they never move.
Really?
Well, you can't blame them. Look what they're paying,
I've heard
you
that,
know.
yeah.
And like a 3-bedroom is $600. So, you know, in today's economy, being realistic, there's not a lot of people that could really afford that. Because with the heating in the winter and what you pay for rent, it's about $800 a month. And to me, that is not cheap. So a lot of people, I guess, they just can't afford it. So they have all these vacancies. And then they have all these people on the rental list, waiting list for rent assistance. So I've never asked, but it just makes sense to me that this is actually what they did. They just took some of these people off these waiting lists and just put them there and fill some of those vacancies. But they just don't blend in.
Yeah.
They don't blend in with the working class. So that's really what I hate.
So do you see some of the working class leaving then as a result to this, or is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
So that
People are buying homes. There was a school teacher. She lived like 2 doors from me. She bought a house 6 years ago. There's another lady. She just got her BA in emergency room management, and she said she just put in an offer for a home.
Okay.
So, you know, and then we have one neighbor, oh my God, all day long. You could hear this lady from my house to,
Really?
oh, that's how loud she is. But she's a real friendly lady, but she's on a rental system, but she's just unproductive. So
Yeah.
all she do is sit on the porch, a lot of different company, and yak, 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 yak. Nice lady.
Yeah.
Just don't have anything to do with her time except people visit her. You know, she go from like porch to porch, crowds of people. I don't know how she do it. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
So
But they know, don't, you know, come by me, because I just keep busy.
Yeah.
I have to keep my mind going. I got to focus on the future and my plans, my goals, where I want to head. And I don't have time for all this company.
What's a typical day for you, like when you're in bake mode?
Well, I work 3rd shift. So I start at 2 a.m. I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah. You have your own space.
I'm the only one in the bakery. And I have to fill a donut case by 6 a.m. and have all my bread baked by 6 a.m.
Okay.
So what I do is, you know, it's a lot of responsibility, but the donut case is not completely filled at 6 a.m. I just have all my different varieties in. Okay, let's say, you know the tiger tail is?
I don't know what to
It's a twisted donut.
Okay.
It's a chocolate and yellow.
Oh, I know
I have
that
to
is
make those first. So I have to take 2 rings and slice them down the middle, 1/2, and twist them, then pinch the ends together. So that's in the case. I have apple fritters in the case, rings, usually 3 of these because these are the biggest seller.
Okay.
Those are the
Good place,
biggest
those.
seller.
Yeah.
Long Johns, they love the white versus the chocolate. So I have 1 tray of the whites and 1 tray of the chocolates. Oh, I bake danishes. I bake muffins. I bake croissants, hard rolls, Kaisers. You know what those are? Okay, I bake all of. So generally, I have the hard rolls, the croissants, the muffins, all different kinds. Cranberry, blueberry, raisin bran, banana. Oh, there's so many different kinds. French vanilla, chocolate chips. Those are quick. I can do those real quick. I can have those done in about 40 minutes.
Okay.
So actually, that's one of the first things that I put in the case.
Okay.
And then it's like 1 variety of every other donut that I make. And then usually by 8 o'clock, Pretty much done with all the frying. Actually, it doesn't take long to fry. I might do 500 donuts per night.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
But it's quick because it's only a minute and a half per screen, because you got them set up on screens, and you usually have 15 per screen. But don't let them touch. If they touch, you're in trouble. You got to throw them all away. The whole screen got to go. Because for some reason, when they touch, they don't flake. Like these are nice and puffy. So if they touch, you got a problem. So I learned, a little secret so that they don't touch.
Okay.
But I love my job. And then I'm usually done right around 8:30. So then I got to start the cleanup. Got to clean up.
Yeah.
Your mess. Don't want to leave it for the next person. And by 9, I'm pretty much done, so I'm gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I love that job.
Okay.
It's excellent.
What about when you're not working and you're in the community, in the neighborhood? Are there places you
Well,
like to go to, or people you like to hang out with, or is it?
I said I don't have time to hang out.
You don't have time?
I
That
really
busy?
don't. But I'm a early person, so I always get up early. I'm usually up about 6. Like this morning, I got up and showered. So I bathed, got dressed, and I ran to the store. I had to get a few things on my list.
Okay.
So I came back, sat outside a little bit, enjoyed a nice breeze.
Yeah, it's nice in the morning.
Yeah, and then if I have errands, I do like doctor appointments and different places. And I have my one sister. She's has arthritis, so she'll call me on occasion. Can you take me here, take me there, that kind of thing.
So you drive to these places?
I have a car.
You got a car? Okay. Does your sister live nearby?
She live on 6th and Locust.
6th and Locust.
Yeah, it's a beautiful historical area over that way.
Yeah.
So I keep busy all the time, whether it's housework, doing stuff on the internet, printing this, printing that, Microsoft Office stuff, typing, different stuff, and so I have a very busy day.
Okay.
Do you run to different places in this neighborhood? What do you say?
Actually, I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm all over. I don't have one particular location. But I will tell you this, since gas is so, I don't have to tell you that, that. I pretty much try to keep it short, I would say. I do what I need to do. If it's on Greenfield or if it's in Mech 1, I try to do it quick.
Yeah.
And do it all at one time
that's a good
versus going out 2 or 3 times a day. But then sometimes you have those days. Sometimes you actually have those days when you get surprises. You might get a phone call. Oh, I need this, I need that, or can you, that kind of thing. So I do have those days too. But for the most part, my days are very busy. It's summer, there's lawn care, there's gardening. You saw my place, you see all the
Looks
beautiful.
great.
It takes time to do that stuff. And you also have to maintain it. So I'm just very busy.
Yeah. Do you ever partake in any of the community gardens in the area? Like in Haven Woods?
I didn't even know that they had any around here. No, I didn't know.
Is that something you would be interested in if
Absolutely.
you had the time?
Absolutely. I would love to. I don't have enough space to do vegetables by me.
Yeah.
So I would love it, Is it too late for that?
I don't know if their schedule is, but I know that
I'll talk to them
big
about
community gardens over at
because I would love to do tomatoes and
Yeah.
some other plants, but I can't do it here because I don't have enough space.
Sure.
Yeah, my space is all taken.
So you work and you'll get off at about 9. You said. Do you usually bake during the rest of the day? No, that's your day off then. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't usually. Not unless like my family will call me. Like a couple weeks ago, my niece was having a baby shower. She asked me to do a baby shower cake for her, and that was on a Saturday. But I don't do a whole lot of that stuff. I do more of that stuff at work. Yeah, but I figure when the day comes, I get my bakery. Then it'll be an everyday kind of thing.
Okay.
And I will do donuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's for sure.
Yeah.
They're very, very good.
Okay. So, is there anything you'd like to see changed in the neighborhood, or is
it's what I told you before. If they could just put more working people on my block, well, throughout the whole, like they once did.
Okay.
They don't do that anymore. And when I first moved here too, they would like pair you up with your next door neighbor. Like for an example, when I came, I had 2 children. I worked. My neighbor had 1 child. She worked. That kind of thing. So pretty much everybody in that building, if they had children, that's who they would put in that building. If they worked, that's who they would put in that building. But I would love to see that again. I don't know if it'll happen.
Do you think that helped shape your work ethic? I mean, you're clearly a hard worker. Do you think having that around you all the time has really shaped
Oh, absolutely.
who you are as far
Absolutely.
as a hardworking person?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if it would just rub off on some of these people,
Yeah.
but you know, some of these people, they don't think, I don't understand them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how do you feel that you could grow in life financially,
Yeah.
mentally? How? And you don't do anything to get there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is that kind of thing. But this one lady, I think she's on disability. She's disabled.
Okay.
So maybe, you know, that's her problem. But then why don't they put her in one of these disabled buildings?
Mm-hmm.
You know, why put her in a building with people that work?
Yeah.
Because my neighbor that lives right, she works in the medical field. She has a degree. You know, I was telling you the lady that's buying the house, she got a degree. So why put this lady in the middle of us? I don't understand it. You know, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay.
More about the nature walks, or I mean the daycare, and there's some great stories in there, I bet.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to, continue with having kids at your place?
Right now?
Providing, do you continue to do that?
No.
Daycare for
No.
kids or anything like that?
I don't do that.
But we'd like to hear more about the previous.
Yeah. Do you have any good stories of some of the kids, or do
Well,
you stay
yes.
in touch with any of them? Any of those
Yeah.
kids that you had?
Well, I don't really stay in touch with them, but I did see, I took care of a family of children.
Mm-hmm.
It was 2 girls and 1 little boy. And the boy being the youngest, he was probably about 8 months old. And then the oldest was like 4 and then 2. The 2-year-old, she had problems with her muscles
Okay.
not being developed as they should have. So I knew what to do to develop her muscles. And I don't know if you would call me all about person or just a gifted person. But this young girl, she was 2 years old and she was underdeveloped. She walked more like a 1-year-old. You know how they are, their legs are wobbly
Mm-hmm.
and they constantly fall, they can't. So at 2 years old, she shouldn't be doing that. Her muscles should be really toned,
Mm-hmm.
that she should be able to move about without tumbling over. So that was the issue with her quite often. So I'm also a very spiritual person. And I would pray for her. I believe in the power of prayer.
Mm-hmm.
I would pray for her, and I have steps in my place. And then I would get behind her and let her go up and down the steps, up and down. And then we would take walks, nature walks. I would exercise her legs, that kind of thing. And she was going through therapy at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who her therapist was, but I know her mom took her, frequently to therapy. So this one particular time, her mother told me, she said, Miss Davis, she said the therapist wanted to know what am I doing that Chandlin, that was her name, is doing 100% better. She's seeing great improvements in her muscle tones. So her mom, she said, well, it's the daycare lady. So, that kind of thing. See, that's why I was just so happy that I was in that field at that time, because I saw that I was really making a difference in a child's life. And once in a while, I run into these children at the grocery store, and I saw them with their mother.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I was so happy to see them, but they're all grown up and sassy mouth and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But they're really good looking children.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I did impact their life. And the other thing about Chandlin was that in my classes, we were taught to teach the children self-help skills.
Okay.
Don't let them think that you need to do everything for them, but show them how they could also help themselves. And, you start doing that from age 1. get your own plate, clean the table, behind, do your space, that kind of thing. So Chandlin, again, she was right around 2. We would cook. We would do breakfast. We would do pancakes. We would do cereal, scrambled eggs, different stuff. And if for lunch, let's say I had spinach and she didn't like it, and I had a little child table with little miniature chairs, all of that. So I would prepare the table for them with their help. They would help me do it. And when she would get to the spinach on her plate, she didn't like it. She would all over my walls and my cabinets. And I'm like, Chandlin. And I had to think about it. I said, now what can I do to teach her that we don't throw food on the walls? Just too much.
Yeah.
So I thought about it and I says, oh, I know. I'll put a plate in the center of the table and I will tell the children, if there's any food on your plate that you don't like, we don't throw it. We place it on the plate in the center of the table. So it worked. So she started not throwing it anymore, and then she just started putting it on the center. But kids, you know how they are.
Yeah.
But again, you have to train them. They're brilliant. They're smart. They're witty. But they need that upbringing. And all of that, it helps you to grow into the adult that you should be.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure Chandlin, she's like 21. I'm sure she's not doing that anymore. She's probably, disposing of it the way she should in the trash. But we would also go on nature walks. And I had this, it was like a stroller that would seat 4 children.
Okay.
And I had one of those at that time, and we would go on nature walks. And then we would pick up an acorn and maybe some little berries, little red berries and leaves, and and they start turning and all that. And I had a magnifying glass, and that would be a science project where we would take a closer look at an acorn, pine cone, and then we would slice little berries in half. That kind of thing, a science thing for the kids.
Yeah.
And then we would do like math projects where a measuring cup, we would take a measuring cup, and just see how many half gallons we could get out of it, how many gallons we could get out of it. Children love water.
Yeah.
They love water. And I used to bring snow inside, put it on the table, but then I had to have, something down so they wouldn't get the floor wet.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, sand, they play in sand and water. We had this like windmill, and a lot of these toys I still have.
Really?
A lot of these toys I still have.
Yeah.
Yep. A windmill where they would pour water on it and watch it spin.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. We go to McDonald's playland, we go out to the lake, we go to the museum. It was fun.
Is this something you did with all the kids, or was it just this
all
group
of the
in
children?
particular? Okay.
All of the children.
Do you have any good stories about any other kids that?
Well, the rest of them, I would say they were at the age that they were more mannerable than Chandlin. They were just more mannerable. Chandlin was the one that I would just say she needed special attention. But the other children were older,
Okay.
like 4, 8, they're pretty mannerable.
Sure.
And there was one that I had, his name was Tori. He needed a lot of attention too.
How old was he?
Tori was about 2.
Okay.
He needed a lot of attention. And the reason that I say that is because you had to keep your eye on Tori. Because if you didn't, he would just cause chaos. Like for an example, if we would go out to eat at McDonald's, we're all sitting down with our hamburger and fries. And if Tori wanted your hamburger, nothing was going to stop you from getting it. He would eat his. He would, watch for you to look away. And the moment you looked away, that was it.
Yeah.
And then if he couldn't get it, your soda would land up in his plate. Yeah. But then, you know, I worked with him and worked with him. Well, obviously he didn't have any etiquette.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked with him and worked with him. And I had Tori for about 3 years. And then he started improving too. So you just gotta work with these children.
Yeah.
But it was fun. You know, between my bakery and a daycare, I don't know if I could do both.
Mm-hmm.
But if I could do both, if my passion is really with the baking,
Mm-hmm.
if I could do both, I would do both.
Yeah.
Because that's how much I loved it.
Is that
It
what?
was excellent.
Do you think that's why you've hung on to these toys that you mentioned before? You still have.
Well, the reason that I hung on to the toys is because I just don't want to get rid of them.
Yeah.
I just don't, you know, because they came from specialty school shops, number one,
Okay.
which Teachers Pets. You familiar with Teachers Pets? They're no longer around.
Really.
I don't even know if I could ever find them again. So that's another reason why I want to hang on to them.
Okay.
And I got these, well, you know, puzzles. They're age appropriate. They have to be age appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like Michael Jackson. I don't know if you guys seen the scene where he had his son on the floor, and it looks like it was only about 2 or 3, and he gave him a 25-piece puzzle. That's not age appropriate. You don't give a 25-piece puzzle to a 2-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
It is just gonna frustrate him. You know, there's no way he's not mentally prepared to, you know, put a 25-piece puzzle together.
Right.
So some of these pieces are like for 2-year-olds. They're like, it's a 4-piece puzzle.
Okay.
And some of them are pegs, you know, like little pegs, you know, that go in. So I don't even know if I could find that stuff again.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I'm hanging on to it.
Okay.
I've even got that old windmill.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a musical set too. We used to do that too, rhythm and band.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to, the old kids love that.
Oh yeah.
And then we would do drama, you know, that kind of thing. We did a play once, The Three Bears.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of fun. But the kids they were frightened. They really were. They were frightened, so I had to kind of tone it down.
They were afraid of the bears? Or is it...
Well, I don't know if it was the bears, but we had to like turn the light out,
Okay.
you know, that kind of thing. But they like, and then I had to kind of tone it down so that they could get into it more, so that it wouldn't frighten them. So, yeah.
Okay.
Any more questions?
More about your niece, and like maybe perhaps you've helped shape the way that she's been eager to, like, you know,
yeah.
help cook here.
Oh, Katina.
Yeah. Do you have any stories?
Well, again, her mother is the 8th child. I have a brother that's the 9th child. I'm the 10th child. So again, it goes back to the roots of my mom when she taught the girls how to cook. And I can remember Katina, my daughter, when my daughter is about a year older than Katina, but my daughter's passion was not for cooking.
Mm-hmm.
She's a hairstylist. Now, she's excellent.
Okay.
She's excellent with hairstyling. But I can remember once Katina came over to spend the night with us. It was on a weekend. And it was like 7 in the morning. And I heard someone in my kitchen washing dishes. And I'm like, whoa, I know that's not my daughter. Because my daughter at that age, you think she cooked. That was not on her mind. So I went downstairs because all the bedrooms upstairs. And there was Katina. She had prepared breakfast. And she had cleaned everything. I'm like, whoa, look at Katina. Who's your mom? But I know she was my niece. But all of it stemmed from that. And my oldest sister, too. My oldest sister also worked with Katina. My oldest sister, when I first came up here in 1968, my oldest sister probably was about 25, and she worked in food service.
Okay.
And now she's 72, and she still works full-time in food service. And she also encouraged Katina to go to school for culinary, and she did. And my sister, she is some kind of cook.
Yeah.
I mean, she cooks for, not 200, sometimes 1,000 people or more. This is actually what she do as a food service director. So again, even my sister, Katina, it all stemmed from my mother upbringing. Okay. And my mother was some kind of cook.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember many mornings when my mother, we would, you know, back then, you don't have much money. So this was after my dad died. But I can remember my mother would always have stuff like sugar, cornmeal, flour, eggs, milk. I mean, it was always.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember many breakfasts where she made biscuits and gravy. And we had biscuits and gravy and milk for breakfast. And you talking about, you would think you had a steak and eggs. That's how excellent of a cook that my mother was.
Mm-hmm.
And cakes, oh my God. Could she make cakes? And I can remember Thanksgiving and Christmas, oh, we would have not 2 cakes, but 10. 10 cakes. Chocolate, pineapple, coconut. Jellies was really popular back then. Caramel. And I can go on and on. But 10 cakes for Thanksgiving, for Christmas. And my dad would go out and we would have like a 25-pound turkey. Mm. Well, you got 10 kids, you got to feed them, bud. Mm-hmm. You know, so it was excellent. I had really good upbringing.
Yeah.
It was really good.
You mentioned your spirituality.
Yeah.
Was she an instrument in that too? Did she
absolutely
pass it on to you?
Absolutely. She took us to church every Sunday as small children, mm-hmm. as babies. And I think that's where I got my spirituality from my mom. And she was a very gifted woman. You talk about gifted. You could walk in a room mm-hmm. and she would look at you and she would just read you.
Yeah.
And just gifted. So gifted. And she would have visions. You ever have a vision?
Absolutely.
She would have visions. Like some good, some not so good. Like for an example, a lot of them would be to warn people.
Really?
Pretty much to warn people. Like for an example, my nephew, he was hanging around with the wrong people. And my mom saw this vision where he lost his leg. I mean, it was just gone. And she told him, warn him. That's it. Couple weeks later, my nephew was in a car with these people he shouldn't have been in a car with. The guy stole the car. My nephew didn't know. They had a chase by police. He stopped them. And my nephew got shot in the leg and lost his leg. So she was a very gifted lady. If you would heed it. Mm-hmm. And she told me something. And I'm to this day, I'm like, whoa, I'm not going to deal with her. I mean, I don't want this to happen. So this particular individual that she told me this thing about, I just stay away from him.
Yeah.
You know, it's high and by because I don't want no problem. And it panned out for me. So, but like a lot of it was like God was using her to warn people. You know, to warn people. But then she would also tell you some good things too. And she told me this, and I'll never forget. She said, I dreamed you had a business and you had so much money, people were jealous of you.
Hang on to that one.
She told me that. Yeah. And sometimes when I get discouraged because, you know, the finances is not there, you know, it take money. You just can't go get a building and get all this equipment and hire people if you don't have the funding.
Right. So
I just still, when I get discouraged, I'm like, because I worked with Wibbick and that fell through. I did a business plan.
Okay.
I researched it. I took classes. I researched it. I had my niece type it all up. She did those charts and all of that. Mm-hmm. And I presented it to Wibbick. They told me it was the best business plan they had ever seen.
Wow.
I'm like, well, I was asking for a large sum of money. Mm-hmm. You know, not overbearing. You know, not to start. And they offered me $5,000. I'm looking for a building.
Yeah. They
offered me $5,000. I mean, who's the business owner, you or me? They offered me $5,000, then recommend that I rent a kitchen. And I was already working with the health department. The health department said if I rent a kitchen, all I can do is wholesale. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't want wholesale. That's going to cost you more. I mean, how could I produce, let's say, 5,000 miniature cakes, package them, label them, and all of that, and take them around to these different service stations or Pick and Save don't need them. Mm-hmm. I mean, what are they going to do to them? They make their own cakes there. So it was like, this doesn't make sense. and I'm trying to get a building. So they offered me the $5,000. I'm like, oh, can't use it. You know, at that time I had saved more than $5,000. If that's what I wanted, I had that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so what are you gonna do?
I'm sorry. When you're thinking about a building, in the area like Silver Spring or further away?
Well, actually, I was thinking about the Glendale area, and I had talked to the mayor. We talked about it, and he said, "Well, where do you want to go?" I said, "Glendale." He had this funny look on his face, and I'm like, "Whoops! I should have said Milwaukee." You know, but
why do you think you said Glendale? Why was instead of Milwaukee, or why did you pick Glendale?
Well, why wouldn't you? Well, when I did my research, the income is higher in that area.
Mm-hmm.
The people that live in that area, the demographics is higher than Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
Those people make more money in that area. So that's why I wanted Glendale.
Okay.
But I will settle for Milwaukee. I will. There's a nice place on Sherman and Bradley.
Okay.
There's a nice little business area there. That's where that woman has got that ice cream shop. She's got an ice cream shop and coffee shop
Okay.
and sandwich shop right on the corner there. I can't think of the name of it. Haagen-Dazs Beanery. That's the name of it.
Okay.
And then it's right next to Snap Fitness. And then they got a few openings there. But if I don't have the money, what can I do?
Mm-hmm.
That would be an excellent spot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in Milwaukee. So maybe I'll contact the mayor and tell him, you
That's
know,
where you want to go.
yeah, that would be a nice place to go. And Willie Hines, he got involved, and he recommended that, you guys know Willie Hines, Common Council, president of Common Council. He recommended, he works close with the mayor.
Okay.
He recommended that they find me a place that I could live upstairs, because I have to live upstairs and run a business downstairs. And I agree. I agree with that.
Is this after you talked to Barrett?
Well, this was before I talked to Barrett.
Okay. How did he come to find you? I mean,
Well, this is what happened. You know that story with Bill Weir?
Mm-hmm.
That's how it all came about. This one lady named Ann Wilson was trying to find me because they saw the clip. And it was obvious on that film that I did live in Berryland. So she contacted Dalton.
Mm-hmm.
And Dalton, give her my phone number. Tell her to call me. So she told me that she searched for me for about 2 weeks. So after contacting Dalton, then that's how we got in touch with the phone number. And she called me. And they asked me if I would attend this meeting
Mm-hmm.
that they had. It was at a community center there on 15th Street.
Okay.
On the south side. Gave me the time and all that, and I attended. And they told my story, you know, when I was on World News with Bill Weir and all that. And they asked me to stand. So that's how all of that came about.
Okay.
And at the end of that meeting, Ann talked to Willie Hines, introduced me. Well, he had saw the film clip, and he saw my skills and what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he put on his thinking cap, and he came up with that idea that it would be a good idea to get me a place where I could live upstairs and then rent out, rent the whole place from the city, and then have to build the bakery downstairs and live upstairs.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how that came about. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Interesting story.
Absolutely.
This is wonderful.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad.
Thinking, maybe only other things like favorite spots in the neighborhood.
My favorite spot to shop.
Oh no, anything. I mean, like if you like to walk around or.
Well, my favorite spot, there's this little park, and it's on about 37th and I'm not exactly sure. It's the Silver Spring, but it's like 2 blocks south of Silver Spring.
Okay.
I know, but it just won't come right now. It's on about 37th, like 2 blocks north. there's this little park that I walk and go and just sit, you know, especially when I feel stressed.
Sure.
Just sit there and, you know, think things through, and it's a nice little spot there, really nice. And one day I was going to take my grandson, he's 8 years old. Well, I did take him this one day, and they had all these ducks there. They were all over the place. And he said to me, Grandma, if I knew it was this far, I would have asked you to drive. He didn't want to walk. He did not want to walk, but I love walking. But he made it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like that little area.
Yeah.
And then when I walk sometimes too, I'll go down Flores.
Okay. Past
the post office. And then come back down that one little street there. And then all the way back down to 41st and Blackdown. I love to walk. And then on occasion, I walk down the Bayshore.
Okay.
I'll just walk straight down.
All the way down.
Silver Springs.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
That's good.
Sometimes I'll do that too.
Okay.
Yeah. So I love to walk. Yep.
You find that as a good stress relief?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I do.
Health
too.
too.
Health too.
Health too.
Yeah.
And for some reason, you get blood flowing to your brain.
Helps you think.
Yep. You think clearer. So I love that. Yeah. And I was a member a couple years ago of Snap Fitness, but I can't afford it anymore. And then I found it wasn't helping me. It's a funny thing, when I first started, it was helping. But then after, I don't know what happens. You know, what happened? So it was about a year and a half, I'm like, this is not helping me. Why should I pay my money when I can walk?
Yeah.
You know, the weather was permitting, so I just dropped the membership there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm active in church. You know, I attend church.
Local church around here? Is it one that you walk
Well,
to?
actually, no, not walking distance. But my brother has a church on Glendale.
Okay.
It's 46 in Glendale, it's like right on the corner. And my church is on 10th and Hadley.
Okay.
But because gasoline prices are so high, I just go to, it take me 5 minutes to get there.
Okay.
I'll go to his church on Sunday.
Okay.
It's a small setting. You know, he don't have a lot of members. But even when I go, I still enjoy it.
Does a lot of your family still live in Milwaukee? Yeah. You're
Yeah.
close with them? You see them a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very close.
Okay.
All except my oldest sister. She don't want you to come by her house just. Now my one sister on 6 and Locust, I can go visit her anytime. I don't have to call her, tell her I'm coming because she's retired or anything. And I'll go, but not my oldest sister. You don't do that to her. You gotta call.
Yeah.
Call first. She don't like that. But she's got a cute little dog that she's a widower. Her husband is deceased. And she's retired. She worked till she was 70.
Really?
She was a CNA at St. Mary's till she was 70 years old.
Wow.
Yep. Now she says she bored, so she want to go back to work.
Yeah.
But she can. She said that she was working on some things. Yeah. She's real good with caring for patients.
Yeah.
Real good.
That's good.
Remember John Hinckley? Remember he got shot?
John Hinckley.
Yeah.
Remember that?
So.
She
Okay.
cared for him.
Okay.
She cared for him. And there's a few other celebrities that she cared for.
Okay.
And they loved her. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. When we move on with this project, we're gonna have some really cool stuff to show you.
Okay.
In the end.
Yeah, in the end.
Yeah.
In the weeks to
Okay.
come.
You still got my phone number, right? You
We
didn't
do.
lose it?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
We have a
Yeah. And if you're not sick with us, we would like to take you for a walk, and then also tape record that.
Okay.
It would be really neat.
have a follow.
Well, maybe we
follow
could walk
interview.
down to that little park I was telling you about.
Yeah, we can check
If
that
you're
out.
interested.
That'd be
Yeah.
wonderful.
Next week we're gonna
Okay.
have a little demonstration and tutorial on the
Okay.
proper way to do this part of the interview. So
All right.
we'll keep in touch.
Okay.
We got your number.
Okay, well, enjoy the donuts.
Thank you very much. They
Okay.
look great.
All right,
Awesome.
thank you. I enjoyed
thanks a
you
lot.
guys.
Yeah.
Relieve some stress there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you got planned for-
family can be stressful.
Yep.
Oh, my daughter is here from Atlanta.
Your daughter's here?
Yeah,
Visiting?
she lives in Atlanta.
Okay.
Okay, so,
So what do you guys have planned for?
well, my
visit?
daughter has a salon, so she's at the salon.
Okay.
And as far as me, I'm probably just gonna chill out and enjoy the outdoors a bit.
Trying to stay cool.
Yeah, stay cool a little bit. Because when it's hot like this, I don't like moving around too much. I don't think nobody do it.
It was a great idea to come here and
Yeah,
talk
it
with
was.
us.
See, I knew what I was talking
You
about.
knew what you were talking about.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
You're
We're all
welcome.
set.
right. So I